Hello and welcome to Telluride Real Estate News. I'm your host, Robert Stenhammer, broker associate with Telluride Real Estate Corp, Christie's International Realty. Today's show features a Telluride real estate market fourth quarter 2016 update and a special conversation with Matt Skinner, Chief Operating Officer of the Colorado Flights Alliance, who will give us an overview on air access to Telluride. The Telluride real estate market, which includes the town of Telluride, the town of Mountain Village, and the surrounding San Miguel County, total sales for these areas for year-end 2016 were nearly on par in both dollars and number of sales compared to 2015. $452.8 million in contracts closed in 2016, only 2% below 2015. The number of sales were up 1% compared to the prior year. What started as an uncertain year due to an unstable stock market, low energy prices, and election concerns, 2016 ended with a satisfying and stable finish. Notably, Mountain Village saw an improvement of high-end luxury home sales. In 2015, there was only one home sale over $5 million. In 2016, there were 6 home sales over $5 million in Mountain Village. This is an indication that mountain luxury resort properties are an increasingly attractive purchase. The town of Telluride's persistent low supply of inventory for sale continues to be a contributing factor to a mild slowdown in that area. While the number of sales in the town of Telluride are down nearly 20%, dollar volume is only down 11%, signaling the town of Telluride remains very desirable. With construction taking place all over town, the lack of inventory should soon correct itself. Given rising energy prices in key Telluride buyer market segments and a strengthened Dow, the outlook for 2017 looks very positive. In the remainder of San Miguel County, single-family home sales are up 64% in the number of transactions, with the ski ranches and Aldacero neighborhoods being the most desirable for their proximity to Telluride and Mountain Village, along with open space and views. Condo townhome sales are down 6% in the remainder of the county, as inventory is overall low because of limited zoning of condos. Land sales are down slightly at 8%. This decrease and large increase in single-family homes suggests buyers are favoring turnkey properties over new construction. According to the Telluride Multiple Listing Service, $96 million in sales are currently under contract in early 2017. The combination of economic conditions and properties under contract indicate the market is off to a good start for the year. Please contact me for additional information about the Telluride region market conditions. Up next, our special guest is Colorado Flights Alliance Chief Operating Officer Matt Skinner. Hello and welcome to Telluride Real Estate News. I'm your host, Robert Stenhammer, broker associate with Telluride Real Estate Corp, Christie's International Realty. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Matt Skinner, who is the Chief Operating Officer of the Colorado Flights Alliance. Matt, welcome.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you landed in Telluride.
The long ski story, I guess. Brother and I moved out to Colorado after college, started skiing, eventually decided to move indoors from the true pure ski bum lifestyle, which is a hard thing to do. You miss that seasonality and the outdoor time. But eventually went to grad school and then came up through the PR and marketing channels. Worked up in Summit County, Montana, spent a couple of years in Europe. Worked summer resorts in about 5 different countries, and then ended up in Durango doing PR and marketing for those guys over there. And came over to Telluride Ski Resort about, 10 years ago now.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And ran the marketing and sales department over there for quite a while, and then moved on to air. The air piece actually was something that had started for me in Durango. It was not as integrated as it is here. But as part of my job running the marketing at the resort there, I was also the representative to the tourism board and the air task force, the air board over there. And so really the air had been running parallel with my career up until here.
So when we talk about air service to Telluride, obviously an extremely important factor for real estate and for our second homeowners. And so in order to help supplement that, the Colorado Flights Alliance is an organization that brings air service both into the Telluride Airport and also the Montrose Telluride Airport. Tell us a little bit about CFA.
Well, Colorado Flights is really an ideal type setup from my air experience in different resort towns, the way that it was set up here and why I was really attracted to it actually as a career move. moving over. It's sustained funding. All the partners are at the table, and for the most part, generally get along and really believe in the project. And so when you have something like that, you're really with a public-private partnership that's in place, and you can really see a ball that you can push forward. This is really an ideal setup for a destination. So with our funding, it's lodging and restaurant tax. It's contribution from the ski resort that matches a certain percentage. It's individuals, including the realtors, who are one of our leading private contributors to the program. Can't leave out retail with the sporting goods stores. The main, the bulk, the heavy carriers in town all contributes. And then we get small businesses. I always love to mention the bookstore because they lead the charge for retail. We've also got a couple of like home furnishing folks who participate, and folks down in Montrose, of course. City of Montrose, County of Montrose works with us at the airport, and even the town of Ouray, the CVB in Ouray is contributing now. And so when you have all these partners believing in the tourism and the economic lever that can be pushed with air, it really makes your job, I don't know if easy is the right word, but you can really gather everyone in a region to move in lockstep. And we've been able to parlay that into some really aggressive moves the last few years and seen it come through with the air service.
So this is a real community effort. I mean, you've got, as you mentioned, you've got a portion of the sales tax that goes to your funding, but also these private enterprises who are helping bring people here and making it easier to get people here. Telluride has a lot of momentum, and certainly we're seeing demand rise, year over year, particularly in the summertime. The Telluride Airport, right here, just a few miles from where we're sitting, has had commercial service in the past, but most recently, for the past few years, has been a successful private airport, which is also very important for second homeowners and people with real estate here. But most recently, you've announced the return of commercial service to the Telluride Airport. Tell us about that.
So, commercial had been a backbone, of that airport from the start. I would say a backbone. General aviation carries the most water at that airport for sure, but commercial had been the place since the early days when turboprops were so incredibly popular, and you're running multiple flights in here. And so I don't know the exact year count, but coming up 15, 20 years. Ran into some federal regulations a few years ago that caused a pilot shortage with our main carrier, among other things. And so losing that service, we saw it coming actually about a year out and started working on it from that point. And so it took us 2 solid years to get actually Great Lakes in a return capacity to come back to the airport. But it was a great learning process. We've definitely learned not to. I think the one takeaway is don't sit on your laurels in the small, the small aircraft airline business. And so we're out there looking for partners. We think that service is critical to this destination, and especially to the real estate community. Just to point that out, it's a brand issue. In my previous careers, I was really, I was the core driver of brand almost overall. Now I feel like I drive larger economy and brand, and really that is not going to be the heavy load. We're not going to see thousands and thousands of passengers coming through the Tex airport, but it's critical for the brand to be able to offer that service just 5 minutes from town. It's such a unique asset. It's such a unique spot in all of ski country. There's only a few airports that really sit that close to town. And so when you're able to bring somebody in that close, for real estate guys, what a great thing to pitch somebody who's coming out. And then also, as general aviation goes, for the folks with their own aircraft to be right there, it puts us a notch above the competitive set, which is so key. So from that takeaway, we're happy to have Great Lakes back, but we're certainly not stopping and exploring potential service. We've been working with the airport on an upgraded approach, which in very short order means the ability to land larger aircraft there, and you can almost taste it. I don't want to overpromise that, but we're certainly down the road to a point of testing that approach. And really, if it's going to happen, it's going to be within the next 6 months to a year, which would open up a few more opportunities and also be fantastic for the general aviation side.
Thanks for your work on bringing commercial service back to Tex. What does the flight schedule look for the winter of 2016, 2017?
For Tex, we're running about 10 flights a week. And thank you for that, because we're just so excited. It was a slog, and as I said, we aren't going to take the gas off. So about 10 flights a week into Tex, like 2 a day over the weekend, and then 1 a day during the week. Sprinkled throughout, and that's year round.
And that's from Denver.
And that's from Denver, yes, exactly. And if we can make that successful again, we'll start looking back, likely at Phoenix down the road, but that will be down the road. I want to build that tech service up first, and then we have a big chunk, another 13%, actually around 13% coming into the Montrose Airport year over year, and an increase of about that number. With twice a day now to Dallas during the course season. We switched up. Allegiant is now flying into Denver low cost, which the Western Slope has been asking for, so we hope that's an outbound play there. And then Phoenix back to full daily. some upgauged aircraft out of Houston, and so some really exciting stuff as we're pushing towards more and more year-round flights. And that, of course, is the big news right now, is when that Dallas flight loaded for this winter with the two-a-days. We're also pushing it through the rest of the year now, so we'll have Dallas every day, year-round now. Regional jets in spring and fall, and then our same course, larger, heavier schedules in summer and winter.
The Montrose Telluride Airport is also a very convenient option for access to Telluride. I believe it's 62 miles away, and I've certainly been impressed with the growth of the flight schedule there, Dallas being a big key hub for us. But we're also bringing other direct flights from other markets around the country. Tell us a little bit about what's happening there.
Well, in our research and our studies, basically it's a combination of frequency out of core hubs and direct flight service over the top of it from our core customer regions. And when you look at our core customer base, unfortunately, it's a very thinly and widely spread and fairly diverse customer base across the country, so we can't just channel into one or two markets, basically. And it's a little bit of a horse race in the ski industry now to get out and put those kind of pipelines into those markets. So, we look at the frequency out of Denver, Dallas, Chicago, Houston, those two floating around out there, and then Phoenix for sure, as we continue to grow that. And then over the top of that, we're adding New York, adding Atlanta, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and making sure that our guests have multiple options. They wake up in the morning in DC and they can pick 3 different airlines and 5 different flight times. And then at that point, then they can pick and choose which hub they want to fly through, fly direct. And then also if there's any kind of incidents, weather, and it's usually not on our end. It's usually like the Dallas ice storm that throws us off.
Right.
Then they have another way to get home, and there's multiple options to get in and out. And so with that kind of combined what we call layered hub approach, we've been very excited to see it fill. We've added 30% solid in the last couple of years, and we've filled the seats. That performance actually helps us then go negotiate with the airlines for added things like the year-round Dallas service and pushing Chicago in that direction.
As we look toward the future, 2017 and beyond, what can we expect from the Colorado Flights Alliance?
The same aggressive approach, but we're tempering that with what we're seeing as economic factors out there. I already have a couple things for next summer that we can throw out there, is that, Dallas obviously year-round, Texas back, but we've also got Phoenix back into that daily setup. Chicago's going daily longer through the summer now, and Houston is going daily longer as well. And so we've really been able to add some good solid, since the recession, some good solid summer lift as well, which is all incremental when you get, kind of a heavier drive season. We're going to keep the gas down until we find the ceiling. And we're also going to watch, though, where our economy goes. It's been a crazy political year, so we certainly we're headed into this winter with a little more conservative approach. But again, to bid off a pretty big chunk of seats that we hope to fill. Pacing's been good for winter so far. We have seen a little bit of a waiver here around the fall. But I encourage everybody in the region to get the word out on the flights, and all of our partners. Real estate brokers are so key with their tie-ins to all of our customer base. And at that point, we're going to take a look at what our next year-round route will be, and that'll probably end up being the heavy target for next winter.
Matt, thank you for what you do for Colorado Flights Alliance and for your ability to increase access and make it easy for all of us to travel in and out of Telluride. I'm Robert Stenhammer, your host of Telluride Real Estate News, broker associate with Telluride Real Estate Corp, Christie's International Realty. Thank you.